Welcome to our webinar this afternoon, being hosted by NPTC Group. I'm here today with Claire Kluwer, who is the ILT Development Officer, and I'm also here with Ed Noyce, who is the Sensory and Vision Impairment Officer and Assistive Technology. He's got such a long job title, and believe me, that's only half of his job title. He's just recently added to that. So thank you, Ed and Claire. They've been looking after us this morning, and we're going to speak to them about their experiences of digital literacy, because indeed both of them took part in the pilot digital literacy practitioner course and were two of the first people in Wales to gain their certification. Just to let you know what we're going to be doing today, please let us know in the chat pane if you can't hear us at any point. Obviously, if you can't hear me now, you're not going to be writing in the chat pane, but the chat pane is one place that you can interact with us. What we're going to be doing today is very much a sharing webinar, because we know some of you are new on your journey with digital literacy, and we know some of you are a little bit further along. So at any time that we introduce a tool or a technique, we will explain what we've been using. For example, we're using Adobe Connect software today to bring this webinar to you. But all the way through, if you have a tool, a technique, or a device that you think works particularly well with learners, please write in the chat pane. So the next slide that you're seeing in front of you now was from the pre-session task, and we had many of you interact with us. You've obviously received the email and you filled in a tool called Mentimeter, a great online poll that you can use with learners or indeed in CPD sessions. And we asked you two questions. First of all, which digital tools do your learners use? You can see Facebook is very popular. It's in large letters because more than one of you have written that down as one of your top 5 tools that your learners use every day. If we move on, we also ask which tool you use every day. And no surprises there, Facebook. Facebook has come up as one of the most popular tools that you are using on a daily basis, closely followed by Twitter and Instagram, which is showing us the increased use of social media today. And we can see, if you look back and forth later on, and we have sent the slides out, that you can see that there are a crossover, that many of the tools you use with your learners are tools that you also use yourself every day. Digital literacy is a very, very wide subject. Just before we get on to introducing the tools to you and the techniques and how we use them, I just wanted to flag up 2 publications. I've read both of these in preparation for this webinar, and if you've not seen them, they are well worth a read, and Anne will put in the links to these documents. Now, just to try something, we're going to try some different interactions today. I know that you've all managed to do a mark, and some of you have managed to draw me a freehand heart, but you'll also see in your toolbar on the left-hand side, you can indeed put shapes on our slides. So if you have read or seen either of these documents, please mark it with a shape, possibly a star, maybe a square if you want to. So if you've seen either of the publications, please use your shape in the left-hand side. If you haven't and you want to practice using the shapes, because we might use them later, put a shape outside, not on one of the documents. Oh, there we are. We've got a square. So somebody's seen the assistive technology. We've got somebody has seen resilience for the digital world, but there's a fair few putting shapes outside. I'm glad that you found the shapes. Lovely you found the stars and the squares. Wow. Okay, we are all finding the shapes now. Brilliant. So I think what we can say from that is that some of you have seen the documents, some of you haven't. So I'm just going to give you a quick highlight of the 2 documents. The assistive technology is offering guidance about supporting learners with specific learning difficulties. It does emphasize techniques. It doesn't recommend particular software or features because, as we know, they are evolving at such a pace. However, there are a list of possible resources in the appendix which are well worth looking at, because they cover text-to-speech, naming some free and some commercial tools. It looks at concept mapping, mentions Poplet. If you're staying around till about 1 o'clock with us today, you might see Poplet, and it mentions some speech to text tools as well, noting the benefits of helping with notes, writing texts. The document on the right-hand side, Resilience in a Digital World, if you joined us for the mental health webinar a fortnight ago, we mentioned it there, but it's definitely a document for you to look at. It's got lots of interesting statistics in there, one of which says 90% of 15 to 16-year-olds have at least one social media account. And much of the exploration that they do online is self-led, it's not supervised. And often when they are stressed or have traumatic situations, it's social media platforms that they go to look for advice or to share their experience. We know that they place a high value on being part of an online community, and also many young people are active creators of online material. So, with all that in mind, it is a good idea to read this document because they do give you ideas on how to develop digital resilience, or indeed digital literacies, which will allow young people to learn how to respond positively when they are uploading content and how to use social media safely. So just to flag up those two documents, they are definitely worth a read. Now we know beginning of term assessments. We know that you will be in the middle of assessing your learner needs, but I'm just going to hand over to Ed because I just want Ed to talk us through how that happens here for learners in MPTC group.
Yeah. Hello there. In terms of assessing learners' needs for assistive technology, what we do here is we generally a lot of the students they'll come in with statements, and we have a look at the information on the statements. We also will pick up information from transition meetings before they actually come to the college, and whilst some of them are doing taster sessions, we'll observe them and see if there's anything else we can do to help them. Outside of that, we have students who will enroll directly, and they complete the form, and then we'll have a query, run a query on the applications, and pick up any information regarding visual or hearing impairments from the form. What we'll do with those students then is we'll meet with them individually, and if they believe that they may require some technology, we'll work with them. And it's a bit, and we read what we read is a heuristic evaluation where we know, like when you go to the opticians and he puts a view glass in front of you and says, "What does it look like now? What does it look like now?" And we'll see what works best for them.
Thank you, Ed. And as Anne is saying in the chat pane, please share your experience with in your own college with us too. Now, one thing we do know in this day and age is that funding is restrictive. It's becoming increasingly more important to make the best and most efficient use of the tools, the technology, the devices that we already have available to us. And one of the reasons for this webinar today was a follow-on from the ALN conference in May, where Ed actually came to explain some of the accessibility features that you find in some everyday office tools that you will have on all your laptops in colleges, perhaps on your devices that you use at home too. So what we're going to do now is ask you again to interact with us. You will see 4 icons on your screen. Each of these icons has accessibility features attached or within either the device or the software. Now, it's up to you now whether you use a free pen tool or whether you use a shape to let us know, do you use any accessibility features within any of these tools or within any of these devices? Now, see, some of you have started, so if you drew a circle or put a star or have made a mark so far, please just note in the chat pane while others are making a mark what accessibility features you do use. We'd be interested to find out. I'm loving the hearts. And I'm loving the fact that some of you have found the colour purple. That makes me feel very, very happy. Whilst you're doing that and whilst you're still thinking, we're going to ask you, because Ed has been busy and I've been a little bit busy, we have made some screencast videos to demonstrate some of the accessibility features. I can see that Sarah's using a magnifier. We've got mouse speed and size. You should now see on your screen, so continue writing in the chat pane, but you should see on your screen a poll. Now we have some screencast videos of some of these accessibility features, and we're trying this new today. It's a new feature in Adobe Connect. We're all taking risks, we're all trying out new things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's part of being on our own digital literacy journey. But we would ask you to select which feature would you like a quick demonstration of. Now what we're going to have is a real problem if it's a dead heat as it is at the moment. So we really need you to think carefully because we've only got time to show you one video. However, don't worry, because if you would like to see all the videos, they are going to be on the ColegauCymru ALN Moodle site, which if you don't have access to, just drop us an email, drop Anne an email or me. Anne's going to put our emails in the chat pane now, and we'll make sure that you have access to all of these videos. Right, what I can see is you're getting 5 seconds to cast your vote, and then I can see that in the lead at the moment is iPad accessibility. So if you don't want to watch a quick demonstration of the accessibility on an iPad, cast your vote now. No, it's going up. So what we are going to do now, we are going to show you a quick screen share, and I will show you afterwards or explain to you afterwards how this was created. So sit back and enjoy. To look at some of the accessibility features that you can use on an iPad. So to do this, I'm going to press my settings icon, I'm going to press my general, and then I'm going to press accessibility. So you can see there are many accessibility features which you may want to look through later. You've got some for vision, we have interaction, we have hearing, but we're just going to take a quick look at the learning accessibility feature that's called guided access. So I'm going to press that, and I'm going to press the little green tab across so that it becomes active, and I'll also set a passcode. The reason I'm setting a passcode is so that once the feature has been activated on one of the applications, it can only be turned off by somebody who has that passcode. So now I'm pressing my home button to take me back to the screen to see how this might work in one of the apps. I'm going to choose this Oh No Fractions app, so I press the app icon, wait for that to load. I don't want any notifications, and I'm going to triple click my home button. So triple click my home button on the iPad, and that's brought up my guided access options. So there are a few options you can have. I'm just going to use the time limit, so I'll turn that on and say this app can be used for 2 minutes. So you can limit the amount of time a learner has on a particular app, and I can press start, and now I can see that there's, I think, 1 minute activated. So now I can look at comparing my actions, swipe up and down to set my own actions, and I can try the app. Now I can try and come out of the app by pressing my home button, and it's telling me that there are 41 seconds remaining, so I can't leave the app. So if I press it again, and I can triple click, but unless I've got the passcode, I can't turn off guided access. So I'll put the passcode in, and I can end my guided access. Now if you look on the Apple website, they suggest that this app or this accessibility feature helps people with autism or other attention and sensory challenges to stay focused on the task or app at hand. So you can limit an iOS device to stay on one app by disabling the home button. You can limit the amount of time spent in an app, and you can restrict access to the keyboard or touch input on certain areas of the screen. So that might be something that you find useful, but it's just one of the many accessibility features that Apple have provided on iPad. Okay, so we're just waiting for our presentation to load back up, and there it is. So you voted to look at an accessibility feature on the iPad. Had you chosen any of the others, you wouldn't have had to have my voice for the last 3 minutes. But never mind, the other videos are available. I hope that was useful. There are many features on an iPad, and really going through that accessibility page will help you use the functions to their best effect. We are now going to pass over to Claire Cluer, our ILT Development Officer from NPTC Group. Whilst I'm handing the iPads over to her, Claire's going to look at QR codes. Now, have you used these with learners? Please use your pen tool and let us know. Yes, you use them often, or maybe, what is a QR code?
Hi everybody, we'll just wait to see what everybody thinks with regards to QR codes. There's a big no at the bottom there. Oh, it's a lovely X halfway across the line, which is great. Quite a mix, a nice question mark in the middle there. And this smiley face, someone very happy to be using QR codes, which is lovely. Okay, for those of you who've never heard of QR codes, QR code is basically a quick response code. All it is a type of barcode, but it uses squares rather than using lines. They're typically used for storing website addresses or other information for reading using some sort of portable device, normally some sort of mobile phone or smartphone or pad if you've got it on you. And you'll see them everywhere. Nowadays, if you have a look on bus stops, if you look at posters of movies or even anything you might buy from the supermarket, the packs of biscuits, they even have QR codes on them as well. And you can scan them whenever you like, and they'll provide you with more information. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get you to have a go at scanning. So if Karen can move to the next screen for me, please. So you'll see a QR code now up in front of you. Now, if you happen to download a QR code reader, as requested by the email before today's webinar, can you please scan the code, and you should end up with a little quote on your device. The first person to write in the correct quote below gets bragging rights. And that's about it, because I can't give you anything else. Maybe a round of applause as well. We'll see who can be first. People are typing. It's quite long, to be fair. It's not like a 2-word answer. Ed has just promised that if you come to Neath and you can find him somewhere in Neath, because it's quite a big campus, he might give you a free Starbucks if you're the first one. Ah, Vicky's first. Well done, Vicky. Oh, and Margaret, you were close as well. Bad luck. Let's all give a round of applause to Vicky then. Using the emoticon at the top, you got a little man waving his hand. Let's all choose applause. Lovely. Oh, look, you're all lovely. That's brilliant. They're incredibly easy to make QR codes. You can make them for almost anything you want. If you search online for QR code creator, then you will find loads of websites. Now, some of them are better than others. The one I've just used for this one is a website called QR Stuff. And from that, not only can you link to a website or link to a piece of writing like we just have, but a link to almost anything you can think of. But have a look, okay? Have a look around and see which type of thing suits you best. Now, what I'm going to show you now is a fabulous little video created using an application called Adobe Spark Video on an iPad just last week by a group of students in our Newtown campus. They apparently loved using QR codes to answer a quiz based on information they may have learned during induction week. Also apparently mixed in with questions relating to what was going on in the news. They were able to search online for answers using the iPads if they didn't already know the answers, and they want to share their experience with you.
We are the traditional sampling students here to tell you about QR.
Hello, I am James. Today I'm going to tell you what a QR is. QR, may you ask? QR stands for Quick Response. It is a barcode which holds information. Today we did a quiz on QR. Here is a picture of us mighty specimens doing a quiz.
We scanned the QR code with our iPad.
You can find out lots of information from QR. The barcodes can be found on a range of different items, such as
McDonald's chocolate bar.
Cereal packets.
It's great fun!
Visual calls help with instructions.
Activities on iPads help me to learn.
Handouts are boring.
iPad make learning fun.
Other brands are available.
And we just massive thank you to Fleur Grigg and her students for doing that. Thank you, Fleur. It's brilliant. Thank you. I'm going to pass you back over to Karen.
Whilst we're just adjusting our headphones, perhaps you could use your smiley face icons to just let those learners know how impressed you were with their video. Fantastic. Okay, so we also asked you in your pre-session tasks, what were your top tips and tools? Oh, we've got a big smiley face there. I believe that's for the learners and not for my top tips and tools, which actually don't belong to me. They are the ones that indeed you sent in to us. So I'm just going to go through the list, but I do know that some of you have sent in some top tips and tools after I uploaded the slides this morning. So please write in your into the chat pane any of your own top tips. Now, the one you'll see there at the top of the list is Drag and Dictate. This is an iPad app that somebody has said that they use with learners. Somebody's ticked to say that they also use it. And underneath that, you can see emergency hearing aids. Now, we know that there are some apps out there where you can actually use your phone or your tablet as an emergency hearing aid, and we've had somebody email in to say that they've done that. Adobe Spark, again, has been used on the iPad. You've just seen the video from Fleur and her learners. That was using Adobe Spark Video. Adobe have got free web-based software for Adobe Video and Adobe Voice and Adobe Post. So you can look at that on the browser, or you can look at it for an app. We've also had a number of you have said that you use online quizzes, Kahootit or Socrative, and these again are tools. Again, it's not just the name of the tools, but it's how you use it. I've seen Kahootit used very well, where learners actually create their own multiple choice questions as a bit of a revision aid for themselves, but they also use that with others. Digital literacy tools, somebody's emailed in to say that actually the ones they use where no login by the learner is required has been quite useful, and they mentioned particularly Today's Meet and Padlet. And Scott, we've just seen, hello Scott, we've seen that he uses Nutshell. Now I know what this is. This is, I believe, where you take, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, you take 3 pictures and it puts them into a very short video. Is that the one, Scott? I think it is. Learner feedback. Now, I think this is really important. Somebody emailed in to say, well, actually, why don't we just ask the learners? You know, we might choose these tools. We could see on our word cloud, there were a number of teaching tools that we as teachers or deliverers or facilitators might use. But actually, until we start speaking to the learners, finding out, well, did that work for you? Did it enhance the learning? Was I just using it for the sake of it? We don't want to be using these tools just as pure substitutes, and that's why we've got, remember, it's the technique that counts. When we think of tools, technology and techniques, it's really the techniques. Oh, somebody's writing in, I believe, Kahootit worked out the tools. I'm just going to see in the chat pane, we have learner panels. Oh, CollegesWales, I could see that you had the CollegesWales app in the word cloud. Learner panels where learners give feedback to managers. Excellent. Yeah, so you can gather learner feedback that way. Margaret, you've mentioned Quick Voice. Now that's a new one on me, Margaret. So if anybody doesn't know what Quick Voice is and you want to ask Margaret, we'll put you in contact with her afterwards. But for now, we're going to move on to take our last risk of the day, because we are now going to look at one more tool for today. And this is Poplet. If If you were listening at the beginning of the webinar, you will know that this is a concept mapping tool. It's a free web browser tool. What I'm going to do, and we've not done this in the webinar, so this is again me trying something that we've not done before. I'm going to share my screen with you. So I'm actually going to be navigating out of Adobe Connect, but you should see my screen if this all goes well. Okay, just talk amongst yourselves while we do this. Poplet. Now I have to say, I have been very excited. What I've done is I've been in my excitement, I've navigated out of the tool without actually sharing my screen with you, which isn't helpful. Apologies for the radio silence. You should now see my internet screen, and you should see that I'm in Poplet and it is saying hello Karen. That's because I have indeed signed up and logged in to get myself a free account, as has my good friend Claire here today, so that we can demonstrate how you might use Poplet with your learners. Please continue to write in the chat pane, because what we want to do is a collaborative exercise. What we'd like to do is a concept map of things you have learnt today. So we would like you to start typing into the chat pane, and we will monitor that, anything that you've learnt today. Whilst you're doing that, we're asking you to multitask, because watch what we're doing. We're making a new Poplet. I'm going to call my Poplet Claire. No, I'm not, because I'm going to invite Claire to join in. I will call it ALNFE. That's the hashtag. If you're on Twitter and you want to tweet about the webinar or tweet about anything that you've learned, hashtag ALNFE, make it so. So now I have my free Poplet page, and I'm just going to double click on the screen, and I'm going to start my first Poplet and call it, webinar. Oh yeah, I'll spell that correctly. What you can see over the right hand side of my screen, I can share this Poplet, and I can add a collaborator. Now, we've practiced this earlier, so Claire and I are already connected. If we weren't already connected, I could type Claire's email-in address, but I'm now going to connect with Claire, so actually Claire and I can work on the same Poplet together. Now we need to have a look at the chat pane to see what we've learnt in our concept map today. So first thing I can see, Esther's reminded us that with Poplet you can get 10 free Poplets. Now, don't worry if you need more than 10, it just means you can have 10 active at any one time. So you would just need to delete some. Anything else? New online tools. Right, so that needs a new strand. Online tools. Oh, Claire's joining us now. You can see that as I've added Claire as a collaborator, she is now joining in on my Poplet. We've got Dragon Reader from Sarah Powell. I'm sure you're getting the idea here. Anything else that has been new to you today? Emergency hearing aids, yes. Oh, we've got Claire's got emergency hearing aids. So I will get Adobe Spark. So you can see what we're doing as an online community is pooling out collective resources, and we're creating our own Poplet online. Now we might continue to do that afterwards because we'll go through the chat pane, but for now I'm going to come back because we're nearly to, yep, I know we've got we've got a little bit of a time for questions today, so I'm going to come back to my screen. It's Scott's first webinar today. I've stopped sharing my screen now, so unfortunately you can't see our Poplet. We'll come back to our screen. What I would like to do, Esther's just put the last comment in. This is Esther Barrett. We've invited Esther today. I have to say a huge thank you to Esther from JISC, because the webinars from Adobe Connect, we were lovingly trained by Esther about a year ago to bring these webinars to you today. So we've asked Esther to join us today just to check how we're doing, just to get to monitor us a little bit. But Esther obviously is still working for JISC and is offering some blended learning workshops. So if you are interested in blended learning, you might want to drop Esther an email, and I'm hoping if she can still hear me, with NTFW. Thank you, Esther. If you can hear me, can you just pop in your email address, so if anybody wants to get in contact with you. Right, we do have a few minutes left. We've whizzed through our webinar today. It's quite ironic that on the day we were looking at digital literacy was the first time that we had any technical issues this end. So we've been managing from one device and one set of earphones, but thank you for bearing with us. We have a little bit of time for questions. Any questions that you might have about digital literacy or about anything that we've said today? Before I hand back to Anne. There we are. Esther's put her email in the chat pane. Okay, I think we're getting some thanks and not so many questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass over to Anne, because just before anybody goes, don't leave us. We're going to tell you what's coming up next. I'm going to pass the headphones to Anne.
Thank you very much, everybody. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to do as much as I wanted. My machine definitely has bitten the dust, and I think I need a new MacBook. Thank you very much to Karen and to Claire and to Ed for their work on this webinar today. It's been brilliant. Thank you very much, all of you, for what you've done. Now, the what next? Our next webinar is on the 17th of October. And we're looking at target setting and hopefully looking a little bit around sorting out progress with learners. I went on to, with Merthyr College, a piece of training about RAPA, and I'd love to be able to share that with you, and maybe we can, are Merthyr here today? Maybe we can involve them as well, I hope so. But anybody else who's had any knowledge of RAPA that's recording progress, then please do get in touch, because we'd like you to help take part with that webinar. We also have the ALN conference coming up on the 20th of October. It's sneaking up on us fairly quickly. Then regional meetings. I've sent out some information to all colleges about the regional meetings. These are the meetings that we usually get one attendee from each college to come to at least. And we're trying to work on connecting with local authorities and others, the networking side of it, and updating people about the ALN bill that's going to be coming in within the next year or so. So your college should have had something about that, and there should be somebody hopefully coming to one of those. We're at CAVC on the 3rd of October, and then down on Ammanford campus with Sir Gar on the 7th of October, and finally up in Deeside, well, not in Deeside, we're on Northup from ColegauCymru on the 14th of October. There's another curriculum meeting coming up for those people who are part of the curriculum group on the 3rd of November. And then future webinars, as well as the 17th of October, which is a Monday, on target setting and monitoring. We've got another one for another date for your diary, 11th of November, which is one on communication. And then our final one for this project will be on the 14th of December, and that'll be a webinar roundup. So please put all of those in your diary. We'll be sending out information, and we're also going to put them all on the ColegauCymru page. If anybody would like a link to Moodle, please do get in touch. And .evans@collegaicymru.ac.uk, and I'll put that in the chat pane in a moment. That would be great. And can I just say a big thank you to NPTC Group, to Karen, to Claire, and to Ed. And I'm just going to pass you back to Karen, who wants another word. She's on there.
Okay, just as we're signing out, just to let you know how to sign out, you can just press the cross in the corner. But as we said earlier, we did have quite a lot of videos about accessibility features. So I'm going to play one more video, and I'm going to play the one on adjusting PDFs. Feel free to watch the video as we sign out. As soon as the video ends, we will end the meeting and end the recording, but we will play the video for you to watch just before you leave. Thank you everybody for joining us, much appreciated, and for the interaction. I'm going to play the video for you now.
Okay, here I have a PDF document, and many people believe that you can't alter the PDF document at all. And for some, this may cause a problem, because the harshness of the black text on a white background
can be very off-putting. So I'm going to show you some things you can alter with a PDF document, which would allow people, perhaps with a Lens syndrome, to find reading the document easier. So if we go to Edit, Preferences, okay, and then we select Accessibility, and then here you see Replace Document Colors. So I'm going to click on that, and it gives us some options there. And so that we go to Page Background. So I can select a sort of pastel yellow, and then Document Text, and then I'm going to go for a dark blue, and then we see only change the color of the black text on the line art. So we take that off, change the color of the line art as well as the text. So we'll leave that one ticked. Okay. So then we select OK. Okay. There you can see now this document has changed. What if we go back in, go to Preferences, okay, and then we deselect this one, see what happens there. Okay. Nothing much has changed. Okay. Okay.
And you can see, thank you, if you are still with us and you saw the video, Ed was using a piece of software called Cam Studio to do a screencast of changing the background color on a PDF. If you were watching the iPad accessibility earlier, that was created on QuickTime on a Mac. So there's a couple of options that you can use for creating your own online tutorials, which you can then link via a QR code. There's so much to learn. Anyway, that is the end of our meeting this afternoon. Thank you all for joining us. You can just click the cross in the corner. I'm going to end the recording now, and we shall see you on the 11th of November. Is that the next one? Yes. No, 11th of October. Beg your pardon. See you on the 11th of October.
17th of October.
17th of October. Sorry, we'll email out. Goodbye.